So the Waratahs 10, the British and Irish Lions 21. It wasn't the most fluid win for the Lions. They were the best team for sure, but a lot of these players trying to push for test spots maybe didn't quite put their full foot forward, but still some decent performances there. The Waratahs, I didn't think were that great, to be honest. They definitely spoiled at the ruck a lot, made some good turnovers, but also dropped the ball a lot as well. Attacked from deep and struggled a bit. So the Lions should have won. They did win, but not quite the statement they would have wanted. But I was mainly watching this, looking at the players individually. I'll give some scores on the side in the edit, but I'll talk about them here because I try to watch it as carefully as possible. But let me know if you agree or disagree. And also, sorry if you were trying to go onto the live stream, it just didn't work, couldn't get the sound working. I will do one for the test, probably just with YouTube Live, as it's a bit easier. But let's get stuck into the players and say what we think, give some scores as well, because that's all good fun. The front rows, they did really well. Schoeman wins the first, second and third scrum penalty against Big Tupu, who had a real torrid time. Beelum heavily involved as well. And Cowan-Dickey, I thought, very powerful, really good in the tight, a real handful and a tidy line-out game. That's exactly what he needed. He'll be happy with that 50 minutes. Then the Lions player of the game, I think, was Cummins. Had a fantastic game. Obviously had some torrid time with restarts in the last game, but called the ball to himself a lot. Calling the line-outs did fantastic. Powering behind Schoeman in the scrum did great. Trying to charge down everything. Great effort. Hitting lines. A good as game as I've seen him play. So brilliant from him. Definitely overshadowed James Ryan, who we know is a solid player, but again, not quite sure why he's needed on the tour because there's so many other second rows, and kind of just did his thing without doing anything spectacular. So an average score for him, I think. So a little bit of a head scratcher there. And Byrne had to start at 6 because Pollock had a tight calf and didn't have a very good game. Yes, he captained it, but got slightly caught out on a front peel by Tupu on 13 minutes. Some good defence, but also some sloppy catches as well, epitomised right at the end of the game when the Lions were pushing for a final try and it just pinged off him. So poor game for Byrne, definitely by his standards, and hasn't been great so far. So needs to make a move to get into this test 23, I think. Josh van der Fleer did Josh van der Fleer things, just quietly going about his job. Big tackles, big rucking, doing his thing. Didn't notice him a huge amount, which generally means he's doing fairly well. So let me know what you'd score him, but not massively eye-catching, which isn't always a bad thing. Someone who is eye-catching was Ben Earl. Had his best game of the tour. Loads of meters, loads of carries. Just stumbled right at the beginning actually when he could have broken, but really got on the end of a lot. Used out wide very well. His line speed in defence was good, so he saw that speed, and right at the end an electric step and pace on 68 minutes. Launched a really good attack, but typically the Lions didn't finish a lot, to be honest, but he made a lot of meters. I'll look at the stats later, but they must be through the roof. Then on to the player that I've written the most for because he did so many great things and also a few poor things as well, which is often the case for Alex Mitchell. And people say, I don't like him. It's just the fact you have to point out the things he does wrong as well as good. Basically, attacking wise, he was excellent. He whizzed the ball flat across the face of a couple of forwards for Hugh Jones for the second try. But I've also picked out a couple of costly errors. On 35 minutes was a really bad missed tackle, which he can do. This one was on Dobbins and it created the momentum for the Waratahs' first try. It's picky, but at this level you do expect scrum halves to make tackles that they should make, and that was one. He made some excellent breaks at the end, a nice dummy and go for a try for himself, but also some box kicks straight up in the air, which led to one of the Waratahs' tries. So it was a real mixed bag for him, and then he put a nice 50-22 kick in towards the end as well. So some brilliant things, some not so good things. I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to score that. Let me know what you would do. Finn Smith built into the game. The attack was a little stodgy at times, but made a lot of passes, linked the play, didn't really run in attack at all, but that's not kind of his thing. He's quite muscular as well, counter-ruck nicely on 45 minutes. Got more into the flow towards the end, so a definite link man, an okay game for him. I thought Blair Kinghorn was outstanding on the wing, looked really sharp under the high ball, booming 70-metre clearance at the end of the first half, sniffing around looking for the ball, got up in support of the Mitchell break nicely and nearly put Van der Fleer away. Looked class in pretty much every single area. We would like to see him, of course, at fullback, but a great first showing for him, showing that he's fit and in form. Two guys that are fit and in form, and Tupeluta and Jones work well together. Obviously, that no-look pass pop to Jones is a classic. Really fooled the Waratahs, and if they'd been watching any of these two, they shouldn't be fooled by it, but I think it was Lancaster, the winger, completely fooled by that. And Tubelutu, his passing in the face is fantastic. I would like to see a bit more of his direct running at times, but what he's doing is very good. And Jones got his tries, good stepping, good power. So that 13 and 12 slot, they're really up in the air because we've got 4 centres really on form, which is good to see. Hanton, though, didn't have the best game. Did make a nice long pass early on to free Earl, but then a few mistakes. Just offloaded a bit wildly on 40 plus minutes as the Lions were building nicely. Painfully kicked the ball away 5 metres out from the Tars try line rather than just retaining it. He was freed by Kinghorn on 62 minutes, but doesn't quite have the pace to get away from Lancaster, and they lose the ball. So not the best game for Hanson as he's really trying to push for a starting spot, but he might not get there. And Keenan came back from illness and injury and didn't have a great game, to be honest. Couldn't really get in the high ball game. Missed one of his standard cover tackles on 35 minutes, which he's known for making. That was pretty poor as well, which resulted in a try. He was the last defender he got there, couldn't make the tackle, which isn't him at all. So he will have better games, but time is also running out, so he needs another game. Maybe he'll play again on Wednesday. Subs came on and had a really good impact, if not on the scoreboard. The front row absolutely destroyed the current front row and the front row for the Waratahs that came on. Genj was outstanding, won a stack of penalties, nearly scored a try himself with a powerful run, but I think the ball was actually knocked out of his hands by the Waratahs scrum half rather than him losing it. Let me know if you spotted that. Sheehan comes on, counter-ruck first of all, brilliant creative play, so more good stuff from Sheehan. Furlong absolutely destroyed the scrum as well, so a slew of penalties late on should have resulted in a lot more points, which is what they'll be annoyed by. McCarthy and Morgan didn't make a lot of notes on, but they came on and looked absolutely fine. McCarthy is massive. Morgan makes the chop tackles. White didn't have too long, so probably can't score him. Marcus Smith was a really interesting one. A good fly half, you'd think, to come on in a broken field sort of game, which it was. Put it in a great crossfield kick, a nice long pass early on, and then had that penalty kick to touch, which he sliced completely. Apart from that, you'd say great impact, but with that kick to touch sliced, you'd say, that's a real shame, because that could be the difference in a test match. So I'll have to think about a score there. And Duhan van der Merwe kind of epitomised what I think of Duhan van der Merwe, which is a beast of a runner, but just does some funny stuff sometimes. Got pushed into touch twice, trod on the line once when he didn't need to be that close, and then got tackled into touch at the end as well. Now, in a test match, you just need to keep building the attack and not give away the ball so easily when he's so talented. So that was a bit frustrating. If you want 45% off a testosterone testing kit with manual, that's running through the whole tournament. Links below, that'd be awesome. And let me know what you think of the game. Put your scores down below, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time.